Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, February 26th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts in your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol ONVO. Big mover today, and now it's pulled back and consolidated out here a little bit. And actually given an overall pattern that you got to think a lot of people will be keeping an eye on. So let's map out this pattern here. So top part of the pattern, that area of resistance right there. Bottom part, this area down here, let's change that to green to represent support. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let me keep it all one color. So we have our area of resistance, we have our area of support, and then we have the big explosive move up right there. And then if you golfers try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. Now, just because something's a bullish pattern doesn't mean for sure or guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But is it valid? Is it plausible to think that if the price were to come up here and break up through there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a plausible scenario. Again, not guaranteed to happen, but by no means some sort of crazy thought process to have. So if you do like bull pennants, you like stocks down in this price range, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, WAFU, and this one was a very, very brutal day. Pretty ugly looking chart, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly as the price, after a very nasty pullback, it did ultimately respect these moving averages. You have the 50-period moving average right there, that purple line, and started to at least go sideways. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because there is a huge move down and just because the price has started to go sideways does not mean that for sure guaranteed this is the bottom and for sure guaranteed the price is going to go back up. My only point here is that it's at least more plausible at this point. Case in point, if the price was dropping, I'm saying, hey, looking like this could be the bottom, you'd be totally justified to say, what are you talking about? Based on what? That's literally going straight down. But that's not the case here. It has at least started to go sideways. So guaranteed bottom, absolutely not, but a little bit more plausible to suggest that, absolutely. So moving forward, definitely want to see the price stay above that purple line right there. If there is going to be any sort of attempt to kind of turn around, back off this, very nasty move, keep an eye on that trend line right there. I think that could be serve as a nice little leading indicator that if the price can push up through there, that could indeed generate more upside buying pressure. But yeah, no doubt about it. Very ugly looking chart, but we got some sideways movement. We have a pretty well-defined little breakout point there, so let's see if the price can indeed make another push back upwards. Next one here, NVDA, and the bloodshed continues on all these stocks. Going into today, talked about that green line right there as a level of support, but the price broke down below it. And basic rules in charting state, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance, and that is exactly what happened here. So it broke below it, and you can see right there, went right back to acting as resistance, and then even late afternoon, didn't hit it exactly, but got within the general vicinity, and once again acted as resistance as it pushed the price back downwards. Now, the good news is that the price is showing some progress. When you look at where the lows were here, and then you looked at that rollover right there, that rollover only got right there. So it did put in a higher low. So there are some little miniature stair steps in the upwards direction. Now, does that mean that this is getting ready to for sure to explode back upwards? No, that'd be maybe a little too much of an exaggeration. But it's a good first step to see that there has been a higher low put into play. So on that note, you're definitely going to want to see that area hold right around the 127 mark. Because if the price now comes down there and violates that, at that point, you basically have the price going right back to where it was. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but when price movements make bounces and then go right back to where they were, not exactly a sign of a genuinely strong bounce. But overall, like I said, the higher low certainly makes it interested headed into Wednesday. So keep an eye on that 130.25 area, that red line there. Let's see if the price can get back above it. Next one, taking a look at PLTR, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the previous video, but if you did, I talked about this falling wedge pattern and had that bottom support line in play. And check out today's movement right here, the power of charts. Look right where the price basically found some support and then eventually got a bounce back upwards. So for any of you that watched the previous video and maybe accumulated down here on the bottom part of the pattern trend line, congrats to you as you got a nice little bounce. Now, there's still work that needs to be done. If there is going to be any sort of turnaround, well, then the price does eventually need to get back up here and start to do battle with the upper part of the trend line right there. But as right now, bottom part of the pattern is holding strong. Therefore, the falling wedge pattern is still in play. And a falling wedge is a bullish pattern. As I mentioned earlier, just because something's bullish doesn't mean it's for sure guaranteed to move back upwards. But like I said, nonetheless, falling wedge, bullish pattern. The falling wedge is still in play. So it's really as straightforward as that. Just continuing to watch this falling wedge and seeing who is ultimately going to win. Do the bears win by breaking it to the downside? Or is this falling wedge going to play out in the bulls' favor and get some momentum back up forward? So we'll see how the next couple of days go. Next one here, TSLL, and brutal day on this one. Mapped out this $17 mark previously as a level of support, and you can see when the price broke down below it, that went right there to acting as resistance, as I talked about right there. But not given the price has come all the way down here, I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of that line out there, as it's kind of, yes, it still pertains to the chart. It's just not really relevant right now, as there are nearer term levels to keep an eye on. So what I'm very curious about here in the near term is, so let's change that to support. Oops, there we go. And then let's get our resistance line in play. But we have this little kind of a, not really a wedge, but you definitely have this consolidation pattern here. But the consolidation is represented by, this attempted move back downwards, and it did put in a lower low. So don't get me wrong, it put in a lower low, but not a whole lot before the bounce came back up, which has left this lower trend line with not, the steepest of angles to it, which again doesn't guarantee anything, but does suggest that, okay, maybe just maybe the selling pressure is starting to alleviate, and maybe this thing wants to make a push back upwards. So I think a lot of people will be watching that trend line headed into Wednesday, and I make the comment about a lot of people, because when there are lots of people watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So again, not guaranteed that if the price pushes through there, it's going to explode, but I could definitely see it, gathering some upside momentum if it can push up through the top part of that pattern. So yeah, interesting lower trend line, did put in a lower low, but not by much. Then all of a sudden it curled back upwards. So can this get a more of an upwards move on Wednesday? We'll have to see what happens. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering later on this week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box area, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free training. Next one here, looking at ticker symbol SMCI, and to add a little bit more context, put that trend line in play a couple days ago, and it's still fully intact. In fact, now the price is broken down through both these areas of support. So I'm going to get rid of these as the pullback here continues. And now we, the chart is facing a very important level from a technical standpoint, and that is all about the pink line right there, that 200 period moving average. So if you are bullish, that is certainly a level that you want to see hold strong. If you are bearish, then yeah, you would love to see the price just absolutely crash down through that level. But all in all, the price is well within striking distance of it right now. So I don't think it's unreasonable at all to suggest that the price could be doing battle with that. And that just brings about the question is, who is ultimately going to win that battle? Do the bulls win with a bounce to the upside? Do the bears win with a break to the downside? Nobody knows that, but you got to think that a lot of people will be watching that 200 period moving average headed into Wednesday. If the price does turn around and all of a sudden bounce, then really nothing new here to report. Still continue to watch that overall trend line right there, which isn't anywhere close to being tested right now. But like I said, if there is any sort of bigger bounce, then personally, I wouldn't get too excited about the bounce until the price can first prove itself. And I'm defining prove itself as getting above and staying above that red line there. But all in all, the bears seem to be in control still of SMCI. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and the beatdown continues. So I'm going to just go ahead and get rid of all those lines up there as they serve their purpose for now. And you can see it's been a very long time since Tesla has been down this low. Although it does have a bit of a falling wedge to it. So right there is our support. Right there is our resistance. So falling wedge on a very popular stock. So once again, that talking point of self-fulfilling prophecies, when a lot of people are watching the same pattern and wondering the same things, then you can get some of those self-fulfilling prophecies. And yeah, Tesla, I'm sure you've heard of it before. It is certainly one of the more popular stocks out there. So valid to, not make a guarantee, but at least make the claim that it seems plausible that probably a lot of people are watching the falling wedge pattern and wondering, can the price get the break? Will it curl back upwards and get a push up through there? So really, no need to overcomplicate it. If you were to just say, all right, tell me about Tesla, that's all I have for you. It's 30-minute time frame, falling wedge pattern, so got the bullish pattern. Is this going to lead to at least some sort of alleviation back to the upside? We'll see what happens. Next one, SLXN. Very nice mover today. Have a pullback here, but on the pullback, we now have, at least in my opinion, a very well-defined breakout point that you got to think a lot of people will be watching, and that has to do with the pink line right there. 200 period moving average right now valued at $1.21. So you can see right now price drop below it, and then it's just been stuck. So right there, got very close. Right there, just flat out rejected. Right there, very close. So no guarantees, but if the price can come up there and push up through that level, especially if it's a high volume break, then it's plausible to think that that could generate more buying pressure, and then potentially send the price back up to these areas, up around here, if not even push it to new highs. But you don't want to talk about new highs until the price can first prove itself in the near term by getting above that 200 period moving average. In the event there is a push to the downside, the level that I would definitely consider a must-hold area is that purple line there, 50 period moving average. Because, and I'm not saying this will occur, but just for explanation's sake, if the price were to come down to there and then break down below there, what do you have at that point? You have the price having gone right back to where it was. And as I mentioned earlier, when prices make great moves and all of a sudden go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine strength. So that is why, in my mind, 92 cents there, that 50 period moving average, certainly a must-hold level. Next one here, LCID, and I think we have another falling wedge. Some days, if you watch these videos, we'll have all sorts of bull pennants. Today, it seems like we have a lot of falling wedges out there. So we have that lower trend line right there. And then as far as areas of resistance, I mean, really, it depends on where you want to draw it from. Then we have this pretty rough downtrending trend line right there. So yeah, another nice falling wedge pattern. So already heard me talk about it, already heard me give all disclaimers, just because something's bullish doesn't mean it's for sure going up. But LCID, definitely, I'm not going to say it's as popular as Tesla, but a pretty popular stock down in a popular price range. So yeah, will this falling wedge result in a break to the upside? Grab your popcorn for Wednesday. Next one, RETO, and a wild past couple of days. I mean, when you stop and think about the fact the price was up here on Monday and then came all the way down here, was looking like game over, and then all of a sudden today all the way back up there, and it's now pulled back. But the nice thing here is on the pullback, it's maintained itself much better than this pullback right here, and it's also given us a nice little pattern here. So the key area of resistance moving forward, I think you can all agree, right up around there. I don't know if everybody's drawn that exact trend line, but right up around this general area is a key area of resistance. And then when it comes to levels of support, we have that area right there. And then just to make the pattern easier to see, let's keep it the single color. So we have our area of resistance. We have our area of support. We have the big upwards move there. We have the golf hole down here. So I think we started with a bull pennant pattern, and now we're going to end with a bull pennant pattern. So bookends with a bull pennant. So RETO, if you like this price range, good volume today, quite a bit of a movement. If you don't like volatile stocks, this is probably not the one for you. But if you do like volatile stocks, you like bull pennant patterns, certainly keep an eye on it. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it should be used, then definitely get signed up for the free class. It'll be relatively soon, Thursday, February 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. And as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, do a couple things for me. Hit that like button. And if you're looking for a super free and easy way to support the channel and help the channel out, hitting that subscribe button really does go a long way. So please consider doing that. So thanks for watching, and make sure you go get signed up for the free class.